Growing up, I never had a good relationship with money. And thinking back, I never knew this. My parents were well off, and coming across money was never an issue. They handled all the bills, told me to focus on my education. And today, I think I would have been much better off with less trigonometry classes for a class named Wealth 101. Money is a tool that plays several roles, but the only role I knew was spend. After college, fully autonomous and responsible for my own well-being, it didn't take me very long to realize my financial situation was dire and I had to get rich now. So I worked longer hours, worked extra shifts, found higher paying jobs, and pushed myself to earn the coveted six-figure salary. Life was stressful, but it wasn't perfect, but at least I could afford anything I wanted. For my age, I was living a rich life, but something was missing. 2 years later, buying stuff just didn't feel as good anymore. Though I was surrounded by a lot of extra stuff, my bank account still looked the same. I knew why I worked so hard. It was to make money, it was to be rich, but I just unknowingly joined the rat race. And just like a lamb to the slaughter, I realized the mistake with the way I lived my life. The goal was never to be rich. The goal was to be happy. The mass media has done a good job of convincing all of us that we need a lot of money to be happy, that a lot of money leads to happiness, but that's not always the case. While more money could make living more comfortable and life more enjoyable, just having stuff doesn't guarantee you're gonna be fulfilled. There is no simple answer to knowing if money will make you happy. If you have enough food, a roof over your head, and clothes to wear, having extra disposable income doesn't change a lot about your psychological well-being. If you're earning $30,000 a year and you come across a windfall of cash of, let's say, $10,000, I am sure you're definitely going to be happy for a week. But if you're already earning $100,000 a year, and let's say you have an extra windfall of $10,000. Yes, it does feel nice, but it doesn't dramatically affect your living conditions. So, money can buy you happiness depending on the person and their current stage in life, but that's only a small piece of the happiness puzzle. There's a book by Joe Dominguez and Vicky Robbins that argues that spending more money only leads to fulfillment up to a point, and spending too much can actually have a negative impact on your quality of life. So just look at this graph. Survival was me as a broke college student. A little extra money made me very happy. And after that first high-paying job where the basics were taken care of, I could afford furniture and redesign the apartment and buy a plant and travel with ease. That was being comfortable. I was quickly living luxuriously. For example, I was preferring to take a 2-hour flight instead of a 10-hour train ride. And the decline in creeping unhappiness came around the overconsumption part of this graph, whereas at some point in my journey, an extra pair of jeans really made me excited for a whole day. Now, I was constantly annoyed that I didn't live in a penthouse apartment, and stuff just started to take control of my life. We all hear of the rat race, and growing up, I don't think anyone intentionally chooses to get stuck in the rat race. I certainly didn't. Typically, as your income increases, your lifestyle grows with it. And when you start earning more money, you want to reward yourself for your hard work. You buy something nice or you upgrade your living conditions. The problem is, upgrades and nice stuffs cost money. They're not free. So you go back to work to make more money, and before you know it, you're stuck in a vicious loop of spending all the money you have without ever having enough. This is the rat race. Unfortunately, what gets us stuck in the rat race is our increased wealth brings about increased expectations. As we earn more money, we sacrifice more for it. We feel an entitled sense of deserving more luxuries, which is very understandable. Work is stressful. You have an annoying boss. You deserve that rare hot cocoa from Colombia. The only way out of the rat race is to determine what is enough for you. You need to determine where you draw the line on your lifestyle and start putting more money towards important goals and values. Enough is different for everybody, but until you determine what is enough, you'll always be stuck in the rat race. Doesn't matter if you're a thousandaire or a billionaire. I've been in enough personal development seminars to know I never want to hear about goals or goal settings anymore. Goals sound so boring and repetitive. So what do goals have to do with money? Most of us want to be millionaires, but how many people do you know who have sat down and designed their goals of $1 million? Is it $1 million in retirement funds? Is it having a net worth of $1 million? Or having $1 million in cash to be able to buy a boat? Goals give you purpose to know what your money is for, and every dollar you earn must have a role to play in achieving your purpose, or else it is quickly going to become someone else's money. When you have a purpose, financial decisions are much easier. The amazing thing about setting money goals is that now our money has a vision, and it simply becomes a tool to help us reach the things that we really value in life, instead of just another source of constant stress. Having goals for our money helps us spend in ways that align with our values. Ramit Sethi, the author of I Will Teach You to Be Rich, popularized the concept of spending consciously instead of spending impulsively. It's okay to spend $10,000 on clothes and shoes if that aligns with your values and brings you closer to your purpose, and it's a no-no to spend $100 impulsively if you're gonna feel guilty about it later. He argues you have to ruthlessly cut out spending on things that don't align with your values and spend more, double, triple, quadruple on things that actually align with your values and bring you closer to your goals. This is where most people reach before realizing money doesn't buy happiness. You don't have to follow the same path if you commit to removing clutter from your life. Today we have so much stuff that we even rent a separate space just to store even more stuff. And our culture leads us to be consumers, so we spend less time producing and actually pursuing important relationships that are going to bring vitality and energy into our lives. I've always been a big proponent of minimalism and living simply, especially if you want to be a business owner, because I think less stuff means less breakdowns, less repairs, less stress, and now you have more mental bandwidth to focus on tasks that actually reflect your core values. Getting rid of your clutter, it's an almost spiritual experience. You're getting rid of material things which maybe at some point provided value in your life, but now only costs you for owning it. You're now less likely to be living paycheck to paycheck, have credit card debt, or work a job you absolutely hate. A book by J.D. Roth documents the 3 pillars of happiness that psychologists all over the world all agree constitutes a rich life. It's security, relationships, and experiences. It's gonna be very hard to be happy when you're constantly worrying about the bills or where your next meal is going to come from. Well, most people don't have security, when the harsh reality is that it doesn't take much to actually start creating security for yourself. It's easy, start living below your means, avoid consumer debt, and quickly you're going to gain financial control over your life. The quality of your relationships play a big part in your level of happiness. If you have quality, fulfilling relationships where you can share the joys of life and cushion the harsh blows of existence, you're winning. A wealthy person with no true friends will feel miserable, whereas a poor person with quality friends will have a rich life. Social capital is almost, if not more important than financial capital. That's certain logical misconception we have where we think just because a physical object lasts longer, it's going to make us happier for longer than a one-off experience, like let's say going up to see Hamilton. Well, studies have repeatedly shown that this is false. A study done by Thomas Gilovich of Cornell University shows that the main enemy to our happiness is adaptation. When we buy something or experience a positive event, we feel happy, but naturally our body and mind adapt to that level of happiness, making it just feel normal. The only problem is that physical objects that linger around longer tend to diminish in the happiness it brings us, whereas experiences are ingrained in our identity and become a part of us. Mostly in a positive light too. If you had a bad experience, once talked over, tend to be attributed to positive outcomes as character building experiences. Experiences with other people are even stronger because now we can all reminisce together on a similar experience. And there's a phrase by Jim Rohn which I absolutely love. It goes like this: life is not just the passing of time. Life is a collection of experiences, their frequency and their intensity. If you guys like this type of content, I want you to click the like button, subscribe. I love making content for you guys. So, peace.